Good evening, everyone. My name is Rita Ibie. I'm a software tester. So for today, we'll continue briefly from where we stopped last week, and I think I gave you guys an assignment on writing, designing your test cases. So I don't know if any of you have submitted yours to the platform. But we'll just continue and then we'll look into that. We'll do a bit of hands-on. Next slide, please. Let's just take so like I mentioned last time, please get a pen and paper. That helps us to understand what we are doing. You never forget anything you jot down, to be honest. So I'm starting with so it's just an overview as well. We'll touch on test cases and maybe just the bug aspect of it, but I'm not going to dive deep because that's a whole topic on its own. It's just an overview of the bugs, what to look at for as well. So as you can see on the screen, it says, what is a test case? So test case is a set of conditions, inputs, actions, and expected results used to determine whether a software application system or feature functions correctly. It's more or less like it is not more or less, it is a fundamental part of software testing and quality assurance. So when a good when designing a good test case is crucial in software development and quality assurance because they directly impact the efficiency and effectiveness and reliability of testing. So we also have the purpose of test cases is to ensure that the software quality, to identify bugs early, which we also talked about last week. So if you look at what is also on the board, we're kind of going around the circle. So essentially, we want to find defects. That's the purpose of having a tester on the team, to look for all the errors, all the defects, all the bugs, and to validate that the features are working as expected. And another reason for test cases is to provide documentation for testing purposes. Next slide, please. So we also have components of test case, which is some of the examples I showcased last week on the Excel sheet. You should have a good test case should have a test case ID, a test scenario. That is, what are you testing? Why are we testing it? Say, for instance, you say login functionality. You want to check if the login is working as expected. So that is the scenario. That is what that's the reason why we are testing. Yeah. And then the test steps, which then speaks of the actions to perform, the steps to take. How do I arrive there? What are the process? So that's where you have your steps. Then you also have test data, and that includes your inputs, your values. If you are obviously working on a login functionality, it will require data. Those are your credentials, your emails, and your password, and the likes. Then we have expected result. What should happen? We did talk about this last week. This is self-explanatory, so I'm not going to go into that again today. And actual results as well. As you can see, what actually happened. Yeah. And then we have the status. So all this, I mean, it can be bigger than this, but these are just the simple aspect of what your test case should consist of, depending on whatever you are testing, depending on the feature you are testing. Next slide, please. So an example of what we just showcased in the previous slide is just exactly what's on the screen right now. So as you can see, we have the test ID, which is your TC001. Then you have a test scenario, which is saying, oh, I'm doing the login functionality. Then you have the test steps. It's not telling you, oh, when you open the app, you enter a valid username and password, then you click login, etc. Yeah. Then the test data, as you can see, username, which is your password, then expected result. Your expectation is that after applying all these steps, you should be able to log in. You should be logged in. And then your status would then be what if it's a pass. So if you were able to log in, that is a pass. If you're unable to log in, that means it's a fail. So I think we touched on this last week as well. Next slide quickly, please. So we also have types of test cases. The possible test cases are like the ones that on the previous slide. It's just talking about your input, your expected result. That is positive test case. Now, the negative test case is when you are now testing an invalid app input. I think I used boundary value analysis last week. Say, for instance, for the negative testing, you are testing, maybe you put in a password. The password is saying 8 characters, and you are now testing it to see if you put in 9 characters, if it will pass. So if you put in 9 characters and it passes, that is a fail, which is also like your boundary value, which is also, that also covers the boundary test cases. And your negative test can also be, say, for instance, you enter an email and you omit the @ sign and you click on login and you were successfully logged without the @ sign. That is a negative testing. So that means it has failed. But if you get an error saying you cannot log in, that is a pass. So this is referred to as negative testing. So for the boundary value analysis is the maximum and the minimum values that you are meant to add to a particular field. An example would be like your password. So if it says between 8 and 9, 8 will be the minimum, while 9 will be the maximum. So you then test it to see if you put 7, if it will pass, or if you exceed, did I say 8 or 9? Yeah, if you put one number higher than what is expected, it's a fail. Now, edge cases, they are similar, but they are quite different. Edge cases are situations that occurs at the extreme, of an input or operating conditions. They are uncommon scenarios, to be honest, but it's necessary to test them because they are important to test. And because software can often break at this boundary, that is why we emphasize on testing edge cases. Because boundary test cases focuses on value input ranges, which is from small or large values that is accepted, while edge cases focus more on unusual or extreme or expected scenarios. Not limited to numeric alone when it comes to edge cases, because for edge cases, we are talking about a situation whereby you omit a password field. You decide not to input anything. There's no value in there, and you click on submit, or maybe that on a form, or in terms of in this case we are using login, and where you are supposed to input your password, you decide to omit it. That's you testing this is you carrying out and edge testing. And once you click on it, normally you are not supposed to be able to log in. So, or you put in a very long string on your password field, excuse me, or you add special characters that are not. I know some will tell you add special characters, but maybe you just add only special characters without any letters in it and things like that, and it accepted it. So this is you testing, carrying out an edge testing. So, or a situation whereby you also put like 500 characters and it's accepted. So things like that. We test things like this to see if we impute such things, if it will allow us to navigate to the next page or whatever that you are supposed to do at that point in time, if you are submitting a form or you are logging in. And so why boundary test cases are just for just in or just out of valid range. Edge cases test unusual or rare situations, often outside the normal assumption, just like what I've just said. So, and then we also now have characteristics of a good test case. So, what are the characteristics of good test case? Easy to understand. You want to write a clear and concise test case that a granny will be able to understand because uh, believe it or not, you are building something. The fact that you are not physically adding bricks to brick doesn't mean we are developing something, we are building something. So all this documentation will be in use. So when you are writing your test cases, it has to be something that anybody that is not technical will be able to read it and understand clearly what they are meant to do or what the documentation is saying. And another characteristics of good test case is to cover both positive and negative scenarios and reusable. Last time I did talk about shear step. So in the case of reusable, we do that often in automation as well as manual. So in the case whereby you are doing designing a positive and a negative test case, so the first three lines, say for instance, you say, given I'm on this Tesco website and I click on login button. So you are repeating it again. On Azure, we have what we call share step. So you can use that and create a share step. So this is you reusing it. Yeah. And there are other ways you can also reuse. Then it has to be traceable to the requirement. You know, your test case shouldn't be out of scope. It shouldn't be something that is not related to the requirement. You shouldn't digress away from the intention, the intended requirement that has been given to you, the intended documentation that you are meant to follow to design a test case. Say, for instance, a BA has given you an acceptance criteria. You don't want to completely go out of what the acceptance criteria is saying. So when you are writing your test case, it needs to align with the required requirement that has been given to you. And it has to have a clear and a pass and a fail criteria. Yeah. So next slide, please. Why designing good test case matters. It saves time and effort in testing because when you are writing your test case, you don't want to write too many UI details in your Gherkin. Say, for instance, you now write, given I click on the login button on the right hand corner, or given I click on the login button on the right corner, when I enter the email, you know, or when I enter email example, maybe the first text box, something like that. You are writing everything out. then I should see a welcome message, pop up like that. So you don't want to do that. Focus on the behavior, not the UI elements. Yeah. And reduce risk of missing bugs when you are designing good test cases. Um, it also helps us help team members understand testing scenarios and form the basic for automation testing in later stages. This is so essential. I cannot emphasize on it enough, because once you know how to write a good test case, it's going to help you when it comes to automation, because when you are writing your features in automation, it makes it easier for you to write your test script when it comes to automation. So it helps you during when you are designing your when you are writing your features automation. So this is why it is good to design a good test case, and the reason why it matters a lot. Next slide, please. So some common types of bugs that we could come across. So I just thought to highlight these amongst others. So for us to just have a basic idea, these are some of the things you will come across, and you might have come across them. And just because you are not a professional tester, you might not really know that this is a bug. So we have broken links. Yeah. Broken links like hyperlinks that direct user to non-existing page, you know. You want to ensure that you are able to navigate seamlessly, and you want the links to be uh, user friendly. So these are, say for instance, you are on McDonald's, for instance, and you're trying to maybe you've added items to your cart or to your shopping, or you've ordered your stuff and you are trying to make payment, and it's telling you proceed to checkout, and you are clicking on that link and it's not taking you there. It can be so frustrating. So that's a broken link, because it's not taking you to the next page, because you clicking on it is supposed to navigate to another page. Now it's not taking you further. So that is obviously a broken link. Another kind of bug is form error. Issues in imputing validations on forms. Maybe you are trying to impute your email address on the form, or you are trying to populate any of the field that is required of you to fill up a form, and you just can't, you're trying to type and it's not allowing you. So that is obviously a bug. We also have compatibility bugs, problems that are in specific browser or devices. Maybe somebody that is using iOS can easily use that's like iPhone and the likes, can easily see some things on a particular website, and somebody with Android can't see it. So those are some of the things we look at for when you are testing. You want to check, we call it compatibility testing, the mobile responsiveness, because some will say because of the device you are using, that is why you are not seeing some things it shouldn't be. So those are the kind of bugs we look at for as testers. When you are testing, you test across all devices, mobile responsiveness, and browsers. So if you've tested on Firefox, you go ahead and test on Edge and as well as Google. Then we also have security weakness, weak points that can be exploited by hackers. Yeah, and we also have performance issues, a situation whereby the pages are so slow, they are not loading, unoptimized media and the likes. And we also have design inconsistency, misalignments and things on elements, and distorted layouts, amongst others. Next slide, please. So this is just an example of what you can see. So say for instance, like as I used the McDonald's for an illustration, you're trying to go to the next page and you're getting this, you're trying to make payment and you're getting oops, or you're getting the 404 and the likes. So yeah, this is obviously a bug. Or you're trying to navigate and the whole thing just go blank. Maybe in this case, everything it's just white. That means the system has crashed. That's obviously a bug. Next slide, please. So I just want us because we want this section to be interactive, yeah. What is the bug on this form? I need you can unmute yourself and just tell me, take your time, look at it. What bug can you see on this particular form or image or picture that is right in front of you now? Anybody?
I think the text is blurry. Can't see what is there.
I know it's blurry, but you can still see it's saying returning customer. I am a returning customer. That's the second text there. And the third text is saying email address with a placeholder that is underneath it. And then you have your password, and underneath the password, a field for you to fill. And you have forgotten password, and then you have the login. So what do you think is wrong here? Quickly, just look at it. You should be able to tell me. Any other person?
Forgot a password.
The
Good.
error.
Sorry?
Forget a password.
Yeah, well done. Thank you. Forgotten password. So what should have been the right word there?
Should I put anything there?
No, it should have been forgot password. Who uses forgotten password? Because it's inconsistent. We most times, if you can try it on your own right now, look at any form that maybe you're trying to log in into some any site. It's not forgotten password. It has to be forgot password. Yeah.
Okay.
This could be UX cosmetics bug or anything of that nature, but yeah, it's not a showstopper. When I mean showstopper, it's not a blocker. It's not stopping anybody, but it's obviously a bug that can be fixed.
Right.
So if you have to prioritize this, you can put it on your P4 or P5 because it's not stopping anything. It's not stopping customer from moving forward, but it's still a bug. It doesn't stop the fact that it's a bug because when you are filling form, you want that consistency, isn't it? Most modern forms use forget password. So you want it to match user expectation because I will be expecting to see forgot password and somebody else might look at it and like, oh, why is it forgotten password? Because some people will just like, oh, I'm looking for forgot password, not forgotten password. And then they're thinking maybe it should be forgot password, but then it's not a showstopper, like I said. And user familiarity, it feels awkward or outdated. Let me put it that way, especially in the conventional UI. So you want to go with the trend. Let me put it that way. So, and again, can anyone tell me how we can test this particular form? What can we test when I say less? This is an interview question, believe it or not. This can be given to you as a technical question and say, how will you test this? It's not down to one person. You can just pick up, say, I'm expecting more than 3-4 format or methods. So if we want to test this, what should we test if we are testing this? I've just mentioned some of them in what we said not too long now. Okay, I'll give you an example. Input validation. You want to test that when you put an input, or when you don't put an input. If you just click on login now.
Sorry, Rita, you've got someone raising their hand, Vivian.
I can't see anyone.
Vivian. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry, before you move forward, Rita, I'm hooked on, or rather I'm lost on, are you saying the bug here is the term, the spelling forgotten password should be forgot, not forgotten?
Yes, yes.
Are you
Forgot
saying
password.
that it should not be used at all? Because there's I've just opened something and it says forgotten password.
Yeah, so I'm saying it should be forgot password because that's the trend. Most sites are using forgot password. Maybe maybe some site, obviously, that's why this is there. Some sites are still using forgotten password,
Yeah.
but it should be forgot password.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So does that mean that person, that company or that website has a bug?
That's why I said it's not a showstopper. It's not going to stop you from clicking it and then taking you to the next place. So there are different types of bugs. That's a whole topic on its own, defects. Yeah.
Okay.
What we want to see is, this is just what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to like a baby step of how you can easily identify a bug. Now you can look at this and not think of, oh, forgotten password is not a bug. Obviously, it's not a bug when you look at it physically, but from a tester's point of view, because you want your website or your application it to be, I don't know, there's always a trend and you don't want to come across, there are some people, they go by the trend. Yeah. Because you are dealing with user and some users' expectations are like, oh, I should see forgot password there. It's not that it's going to stop them from doing anything, but these are some little common things to look at for. So these are called cosmetic bugs. Yeah. On that form there, you could see sometimes maybe the password could also be spelled wrongly in some cases. Maybe they omitted one S and put just one S instead of two X. And that can also be raised as a tester to say, oh, look at that. Yeah. So these are some of the things that you look at for as a tester. There are other ones that could be really, really crucial, that could be store shopper that will stop maybe that particular application from being released. Yeah. So these are just some of the things, because now some of you will think, oh, maybe you are in a meeting and this is being presented and everyone might overlook it and somebody else will, oh, why are we using forgotten password? And then that will cause for a debate. And then everyone will be like, oh yeah, that's true. No one uses forgotten password again. And they'll be like, oh, or the UX designer will say, oh yeah, I use forgotten password because I feel, and then I as a tester could say, no, forgot password could be better off. A BA could also say, yeah, maybe forgot password should have been the best, things like that, you know. And then that might cause for not like an argument, a debate, and everyone will be like, okay, then we can then decide on it. So, like as I said, some website might still be using it, while some maybe top website would not definitely be using it. So, I was referring to
Sorry,
impute.
you have another person raising their hand as well.
I can't
Ojali.
see. I can't see. Yeah.
Ojali.
Let me see.
Yes, can I ask a question? Good evening.
Yes, please. Good evening.
Okay. In the area where you have the field where you have password, if the instruction is to mix both numeric and alphabets,
yeah,
in creating your password, and then you
yeah,
go on to just use lowercase,
yeah.
and then it goes through. Can you consider that a bug?
Because it has not stated it there that at least 8 characters with special characters, then you cannot consider that as a bug. However, you can test that to see, like edge cases that I mentioned earlier, just put maybe question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, or you just put string, and see if it will accept it in this instance. Another thing you can also, this is you testing it now. Like as I said, if it's omitted, you decide to put only email and you omitted that password and you click on login and it goes through, that's a fail. And then, okay, in this case, you decide to put a password, but you just use string without any letters, without any numbers, and it goes through. That is a fail. Now, it has not required, it didn't ask us, it did not require requests for any special character or number. So whatever you use might be acceptable, then it's fine, because you cannot fail it. It didn't tell you this is what I want. The only thing you can then test in this case is that to see all the edge cases, like I mentioned earlier. Yeah. In this case, you can also put 500 characters, see if it will go through. Obviously, you shouldn't accept 500 characters. Yeah. But then it has not still specified how many letters you should have there. The same thing applies to the email address. Say, for instance, you put in the email address and you omitted the @ sign, and you click on login, even though the password you use normal letters, uppercase, and the likes with lowercase, and then you click on login and it goes through. That's also a fail, because you have omitted the @ sign that is on email address. Don't forget, there's no asterisk on this. So there's also no asterisk on it. You will see some form, it will have asterisk, which is mandatory, you will fill it. Now, it doesn't have asterisk on it as well. And then you decide to omit it and it goes through. Is that a bug or not? Yeah, it's obviously a bug, because you are being required to fill up that field. Yeah, required to put something into that field. That is why it is there. Because if not, how would they know who is logging in without the right credentials? Yeah. I hope that answers your questions.
We still have one more. Thank you. You're the one.
Yeah, thank you. Just want to take you back a bit. I just want to understand, what is the relationship between test scenario and test case? Just want to have the dichotomy. What's the difference, please?
So your test case is the steps that you use to write your test case. So like what we've been saying, if you want to write your test case, if you want to write this test case now, how will you write your test case with this particular form? Your scenario is what you are testing, login functionality. That's your destination. That's what you are testing, login functionality. That is your why. That is the reason why we are doing this in the first place. Why your test case is like a roadmap of the steps that you will take to achieve that particular functionality. So you are looking at this login feature, login feature, and you are saying, given I'm on this website, say for instance, this is a Tesco website, and you then say, when I put in my email address, when I put in my password, and I click on login, then I should be logged in. This is you writing out your test case in that format. So that is test case. Why scenario is your kind of description of what we are doing, the essence of everything, what we are doing, which is your login functionality.
Okay, so scenario is just like the bigger picture, while my test cases are just the steps to achieve the...
Yes, you can say scenario can be an overview of what you want to achieve. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other hand up? Do we have Faith?
Hello.
Oh, is that a legacy hand? Okay. Yeah. Go on.
Hello. Good evening. Thank you very much for this wonderful session.
Thank you.
My question goes like this. I actually want to know the difference between regression testing and retesting. And again, I want to know like I want you to put more, I want you to emphasize more on writing test cases.
So were you in the last class? I have to throw it
Yes,
back
I
to you.
Yes, I was.
Yeah. Then I would like you to revert to the video. I touched on regression and test case, and I did give an assignment, and I've just explained what a test case is. So a test case, I'll just repeat, maybe in a simple term. Or if, sorry, Jamie, can you go back to the first slide? of what a test case is, please. The very first slide, if that's okay. Thank you. So this is your test case. That's why I know I didn't read this. I was just saying it on top of my head. Now, just don't think about it too much. What is a test case? A test case is a set of actions, conditions, expected results to verify that a software application is working as intended. Please write it down. You'll never forget. That's just what it is. You just want to use it. It's like a roadmap. Now, let me use this analogy. You want to cook because your test case will consist of your preconditions, your actions, and your outcome. What is your precondition? That is your given. You want to cook. You went to the market. I want to buy tomatoes, pepper, and now the scenario will be, I want to make a jollof rice. Yeah. Now your prerequisite is now you going to get to the market, get your stuff, get your ingredients, and then your action will be, I blend all the pepper together, I parboil it, I fried it, and I poured rice into it. Did you see I've used and, yeah? And I did that and I did this. Now, then I should have a jollof rice. That's your outcome. Your outcome should match with your scenario. Maybe that will make sense. Because my scenario is I want to make a jollof rice. Now, the process, my test case is, the test case is the process, is the map, is the steps. I'm going to, my scenario is destination to Scotland. Now, I bought a train from, I bought my ticket and I bought a train for 10:10 to Scotland station. I've never been to Scotland, so I don't know the nearest train station. Maybe I should have used the one I've been to before. Now, I get to Scotland train station. Then I am in Scotland park or stadium or anything, because that is where you are going to. That's what you want to achieve. That's the purpose of the test. So it is your actions, your conditions, and your expected results. So you are taking those steps. You are doing this thing because at the end of the day, this is what I want to see. This is what I want to achieve. That is your expected result. So you are already bearing it in mind that after taking all these steps, after cooking all this food, I should have a jollof rice at the end of the day. I will not parboil pepper and rice and have beans. That is a fail. That is a bug. By the time you have beans, after parboiling peppers, tomatoes, and you knew fully well that you had poured rice into it, and then you got a beans, it's an error. That's a fail. Because or you made it properly and you got what's it called? What's the other one called? Fried rice. But knowing fully well that you were meant to get a jollof rice. I hope that makes it clearer. Faith.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Was there another question? Was it just, I think?
No.
Yes, I said something about retesting
regression and retesting. Yes, I did touch on it last week. So regression is, okay, and I will use this rice analogy. Now, you finish cooking the jollof rice. This is the best way you will understand. I'm very sure you will never forget it. You finish cooking the jollof rice and you now tested it. You now realize that it's not sweet enough, like as it should be. Maybe perhaps it's tasting like Sierra Leone jollof rice. It's not, you are not getting the Nigerian flavor yet in it. So you now decide to maybe add one or two things. Maybe you added extra volume, which is your Maggi, and you added more seasoning, and now you are retesting it again to see if that seasoning you added is okay or not. For the regression, what did I use last time? Now, regression comes in after you have done retesting, and now see that if anything that you added, if the amendment made has affected any existing code, how will I bring that to human thinking now? Now you have done everything. You now want to see if maybe the you have poured your protein into that mixture of the jollof rice, and the protein was on its own was okay before you mixed it with the jollof rice. Now, because you have mixed the protein with the jollof rice, because you have put in extra seasoning into the jollof rice and extra Maggi, now you now want to test the protein, which is maybe your fish or your meat, if the taste is still as good as it was when you added it to the jollof rice. Am I making sense, my fellow
Yes.
testers? I don't know if the analogy is good. But the essence of regression is after you have made any adjustment, you want to see if any adjustment made when a bug was fixed has affected any existing code, any features or anything like that. So that's regression. I think I touched more on it on the previous video that we had last week. So yeah.
All right. So can I when it comes to, I know we've not really talked about API and performance testing. So I want to ask, what's the difference between API and performance testing?
You are totally digressing. There are two different things. Performance testing is way out of line. Performance testing is to test for your loads, like what I said earlier, is to test the performance of your application. You are testing the load performance. Like sometimes when some sites, say for instance, Nest is having sales, and a lot of people are on that particular site at the same time. So if the capacity maybe is set to like 5,000 and they have 6,000, that can crash the system. So that is entirely different. And there are other ways to also test performance testing. Why? What's the other one you mentioned? API is totally back end. It's back end. It's not UI.
Okay.
That's
So
entirely different.
okay. There is this question I want to ask. If you are running an API testing and it's bringing out 404, 402, 401, like it's just bringing out those error message. So what will you call, where is the fault from? Will it be from the client or from the backend?
It depends on what you.
All right, sorry, 1 minute. So I think you are going to lose a lot of people.
Yes.
This session is introductory, right? So, and in terms of API testing, that would be covered during the advance, right? So that people are not kind of looking to what is the API. I'm still looking at test cases. What are they talking about? So it will be good to do it gradually so that we don't kind of jump ahead of things that we're supposed to have done, right? So if you don't mind, we can park that for now, right? And then, yeah, when we kind of reach into the diploma part, so we can then talk about API testing or performance testing, if that's okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I can. Okay, is that okay now? Okay. Yeah. I think is that the last slide? Damisala. I think we are.
No, there's no other hand up.
No.
There's a fresh hand up now. Gabriel Oyego.
Okay. Go for it, Gabriel, please.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
Sorry, please. I'm just coming in. I'm sorry for coming in late. My question is, the main program, has it started, or this just still the introduction, or?
It's still the introduction. I think this is the last week of the introduction.
Okay. And besides, when is the program starting?
Laomi, do you want to?
So
Okay.
this is still part of the program, though this is the free introduction into the program, but the program starts fully on Monday.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Same time.
Same time, but you should have registered now on our website.
I've
If you
done
haven't,
that.
you need to do that.
I've done that already. I've done that already.
Alrighty. Catch you on Monday. But it's good for you to still stay for the remaining couple of days of these
Okay.
sessions. Yeah.
Okay.
Next slide. I think that would be thank you, right? Let me see if I can share my screen. Damisola. Yeah, thank you. Okay, you can stop sharing. Any other question, please?
Mm.
No hands are up. I think you should carry on.
Yeah, give me a sec, please. Okay, so last week I did talk about test case. I mentioned so well, this has come off what is it called? This no longer Prep Major website. This is now called, I think I have it open somewhere. So we are just going to look at this login functionality here for Christ the Redeemer College. So I'm just going to share this quickly. Can you see my screen? So I'm going to take all this off. I've copied that somewhere anyway. So a simple login functionality. Test ID, test case. So we're just looking to validate login functionality. Then the test summary, which can also be your description, will be as a Prep Major account holder, I want to be able to log in. That means you must have registered, right? And you should have your test data. So when you see test data or credentials, that means what is it called? Wherever you are using to log in, your details. So the first steps, as you can see, is saying open a browser, enter the URL, click on login, enter email, enter password. I've made it as basic as so that anybody will be able to understand what we are doing here. Because I see everyone keep asking what is test cases. You're not supposed to still be asking what is test cases. We talked on that last week, which I used the 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓 test, which is this one, given I am a user, because this is how the BAs are going to be presenting it to you. That was why I wanted us to have a clear understanding of how to design our test cases. So when you see it like this, you don't think, oh, it's something that is not doable or things like that. So if we bring it back to here now, the only thing missing here is just the 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓 syntax. That's the given when then. So here you say enter the URL, you open the browser, which is this, which is this. This is the browser. It's called Christ the Redeemer College. Yeah, BlueSky Citadel. This is the browser. Now I already have I've already signed in, and if we look at this one now, the next one is saying, open a browser, enter URL. If that means you don't know the URL, or obviously you just type in wherever you are going. Click on login to get there, then enter email, enter password. So we're just going to do that now. Sorry. And it says enter email. I'm just going to fetch the email I used.
I believe the URL will be given the user requirement, right?
Yeah, so yeah, obviously, if you are working on an application, yes,
Okay.
that will be provided.
Okay.
So URL is just basically the site you are going to.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
This guy. Just trying to see if I did that right. And I entered password.
Now, while you are doing that, if you are testing for password, and is in the URL is required to be hidden, but it's not hidden, but the password is correct and it's accepting, it's opening. Is that a bug?
Sorry, I didn't get that. You said what?
If his password is required to be hidden when you are typing it in, but when you are doing the testing, it's not reading, but it's accepting the password and password can go in, it's correct, and it can log in. Is that a
Hold
bug
on.
because it's not
Hold
turning
on.
to hidden?
You mean like what you can see on the board?
Yeah.
No, it has to be hidden, because imagine I'm sharing now.
Yeah.
And if not, you would have been seeing my password.
Yeah, like I'm just saying now, if let's assume that it's not indicated that it should be hidden or not, and you type it in, it's not hidden. Is that a bug?
Some sites I've seen
Observation,
some.
just an observation.
Yeah, I've seen some sites that you are typing a password and it's not hidden. That's not. It's not nice. But
that's ideally it's not nice. But
yeah,
can you use it as a bug or just an observation?
Exactly, as an observation that can be discussed.
Okay.
Yeah. I hope I typed in the right password. So as you can see, it has opened now. So what we want to do here is come here and say enter URL. So open browser, we say successful. Or I would like somebody to tell me what is the expected result. Yeah. If you remember, I just deleted what was there. So those were done, that was given to me by the previous students. So let's do it together, please. So okay, I don't think I have any.
Just write as
Verify that a user can log in with the correct credentials, which is the email and password.
No. So I'm saying we already have the steps. Yeah, hold on, slowly. So my number one step is saying when I open a browser, yeah. So what is the expected result? What should happen when I open a browser?
You should be able to display the successfully.
As expected.
Successfully, as expected.
Okay, that's fine. But you want to make sure that whatever you are imputing on your expected result, a non-technical person can pick it up and understand what you are saying. Yeah. So, and I also said, the second step is telling me that enter the URL. So what do you think should be here?
The name of the website.
Say that again.
The name of the website.
You post, that's where you post the link of the website.
Okay.
URL successful.
The URL should be under the test data, not under the expected result.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. somebody said something earlier. What did you say?
It's a
The
URL
name of the
successful.
website.
Yeah, I think I'm confusing you people.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you say website display? I'm just
All right.
I'm not right, you know. You can get it right. So I'm also still learning. We're doing it together. Don't forget.
That's all right. Your website display successfully.
Yeah? Okay. Successfully or successful? This is when your English comes in. So you'll be battling with it. Is it meant to be successful? Is it meant to be successfully? Yeah. But make sure that whatever you're doing is understandable, it is readable. Click on login.
Your email address.
No. When I click on login, what should happen? When I click on login,
in this house.
Take you to the welcome page now.
login page displayed.
They not in this
Sorry,
house.
can you be muted, please?
And they not in this house.
For the sake of the recording. Yeah, thank you. Enter email. What will be here?
I think you should be able to enter the email address successfully.
Yeah, it can be anything as long as it's clear. Enter password. What would that be?
Imputed boundaries successful or something?
No, no boundaries yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't forget, when the boundary part of it is like negative testing. This is positive testing. So when we finish this, the homework will be that you do negative testing. So I'll see if I'll quickly show that. Then you checkbox. Was there a checkbox there? Checkbox ticked or checked? Yeah. And then click on sign in. Sorry, this is saying sign in. Should be login. What happened when we clicked on login?
To direct
It's
you
very
to the
essential.
page.
What happened when we clicked on login?
The user is redirected to the home page or something like that.
Any other suggestion?
To direct you to the home page. That is, you log in successfully.
Okay. Yeah. So from the actual result that we did, was everything successful? When we clicked on when we entered the I know this is already there, but because this is saying expected results. So what we saw was exact. So in this case, when you have actual results, you will duplicate what you have here as your actual result. The only time you have a different thing is if your actual result is different from your login successfully, or when you impute password, you were unable to impute password, or understand. So in a situation whereby you have actual results, you have to populate it with exactly what you have here and put it here as well. You just copy and paste it here. And that is it. Any question? Because I intend
Hello.
to show us something. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, like I don't know what the method you are using, giving, when, and then. I
Yeah.
thought that when you are doing automation, that is the method you use to write your test case for automation only. Because if you are doing manual testing, like that feed, that login page you brought up, first you have to talk of maybe by writing your test cases by saying, okay, maybe verifying that you verify with maybe correct login, and maybe empty password, correct login and invalid password, correct login by maybe doing repetitive testing, correct login and this thing. You have to do all those things first and do different test scenarios before you enter test set. From test set, from there you now go to execution by maybe executing each of the scenario. But the way you just did it.
Are you still talking about automation, or you are talking about
No.
manual?
I'm talking about, man. I said the method you use to write your test case, give you when and then.
Yeah, that's what. Can you see the board, which is this, right? You are referring to this.
Yes, that yes, this that it look as if is suitable for automation.
Yes,
when you are doing automation, but when you are doing manual test, in manual case, like maybe using maybe Jira, for example, because you have to write your test cases. From your test cases, maybe you develop to test set, you take one of the test cases and execute. I don't understand. And if you are doing that, even if you have 100 test cases, I know that each of the test cases will pass through this process of test set and execution. I don't understand, but the way you just cut it, look as if you summarize it by using that given when and then, because I have little knowledge in testing. I know that it was automation that this given when and then was used, but in manual testing, they were just saying, okay, to verify this, to validate this, to verify the way, and to validate that maybe the login page, for example, positive, that is positive, like a correct email address and a correct login page and a correct password. You test that, or maybe you do negative testing by testing a correct username and a wrong password.
Okay, can I come in now? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. So in BlueSky, we kind of give you declarative training, a high training. And that is why you see somebody like me that I am still here, because what you will get here, if you follow everything the way you've been instructed to, if you follow the guidelines that you're being given here, you're going to be out there and you will look so professional that people will think you, any experience you claim you have, they will not doubt you. Now, given when then is very, very the most professional way of writing your test cases. It's high level. That is why, if you notice, I showcased this to make it easier for you. But trust me, there's no difference. And which I mentioned earlier. The only difference is the 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓 syntax, which is the given when then, which is your BDD. This is an interview question. If they ask you what is BDD, that's your given when then. That's your 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓 syntax. Yeah. So I only just omitted that part. Nothing is different from what is here and with what we have in sheet 3 here. Nothing. Now, the essence of us using this, and I mentioned it earlier, once you understand it, I mentioned, and I'm going to just repeat that, for you to now write your feature file, your features in automation, it will be easy for you to do that in automation. Now, this is not only limited to automation. No, this is purely manual. And trust me, you don't want to be employed in a company that is already into 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓 syntax, whereby your acceptance criteria is saying given when then, and you as a tester is now giving them this. No, that would be so unprofessional. So the reason why I said you guys should practice this, which is of high level, is to set you apart. This, anybody can do it. Yeah, anybody can say enter URL. It's just like calling your child, telling him, oh, how do you go to your Roblox? It's going to tell you, oh, dad, enter this. When you click on this, you do this. Before you even know it, the child is even using the given when then, because he might start with, oh, dad, when you click on this, that's your when. It will not say, and you do this. That's just it. There's nothing different from it. Don't get it. Don't overthink it. So given when then is used in manual. Let me just put it straight for you, and in automation. That's it. It is acceptable. You use it for your manual because I don't know if you were in the last class, I showed you guys the Azure board.
Yes,
which
I
not
I
all.
think I was present, but I was not fully part
Okay,
of it.
that's fine. That's fine. Revert to the video. I showcased it, what the board looked like a day in the life of a tester. Let me see if I can open that up quickly. Fine. So let me just look for one of these. It's an old project. Hopefully there'll be something there.
Hello, Rita.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, this is 𝐂𝐿𝐓.
And Shagun, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Feel free.
Yeah, a quick one. I think you've answered the question that I had. The good thing is for him not, the person that asked the question, not to get himself confused.
Yeah.
Yes, you might have some knowledge about software testing in terms of automation, but don't get yourself confused. Rita, you've answered the question. The first scenario that you explained to them is still another method of of carrying out manual testing, of writing your test cases. In terms of automation, instead of you calling it test cases, then you refer to it as a test script. However, before going to automation, in terms of manual testing, there is no, let me use the word, right or wrong way of doing it. Look at that first one that you use as your first example. Enter URL, just like a command. Click on this. Enter password. I get it. So what is going to be expected result? Fine. The second one that you highlighted those keywords, the getting syntax in red. That is when you are using getting syntax to write to design your test cases. And that word getting means that writing your test case in a very simple English language that can be understood by a non-technical person. Given I do this, the given is the precondition. When is the action? Then the result of your action. Because that is English language. Given, when, then. Compared to the first example, that she was like, okay, enter password. That one looks more technical. It looks like commanding. That is what you do even when you're on your system. I enter URL, I click on password, I use, you understand, this method is still the same to you. I still carry out a manual testing. So now going back to automation, in terms of automation, there's what we call BDD, TDD. We are not going to that then. I believe that is where you got that idea of writing your test script using the given when there. And in your automation, there is what we call Cucumber for those in Java, and there's what we call rec and roll. Rec and roll is that framework that enables you to be able to write your test script using that syntax language in your feature file. So don't get yourself confused. I get into that. Don't worry, by the time we go in depth about software testing, both automation and manual testing, then you understand the difference. So I think even with the use of Azure DevOps, you'll be able to understand in BlueSky, we also use what's it called, the given when there is what we call the syntax, the getting syntax, to write our test cases. It's fine. From what I've just said, use given when then syntax to write your test case so that it can be understood by a non-technical person. Do you understand? So that is my, that's what I have to explain.
Thank you, Shagun.
Yeah. Hello, Rita.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to add to what you've already said, that just to
All right. Okay. Yeah.
give a broader explanation to what my brother just said. Is it Itoha that BDD is for automation? No, BDD is not for automation. BDD is for manual testing. Just as 𝐂𝐿𝐓 has rightly explained, that, why we are doing BDD is for non-technical people in that development team to understand what testers or developers are doing. Okay? Then if we want to automate it, then we'll now convert it to step definitions. Just as 𝐂𝐿𝐓 has said, using the Cucumber or rec and roll. Cucumber if we are doing Java project, or rec and roll if we are doing C# project. Okay, so
BDD, when we are writing our test cases in BDD, is straightforward. People that don't even understand technical things can understand it. We can do manual testing with it. But if we decide to go automation, then we'll convert it to step definitions where we'll have the Java methods and Cucumber or whichever BDD type we want to use. If we are working with Java, we use Cucumber. If we are working with C#, we use a wrecking row. Just to add to what my brother said, it's not BDD is not automation. BDD is manual, but that's giving when then steps. Then, if we want to further convert that BDD steps to automation step, they will create a step definition out of it. Okay, but we will get there.
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead. Feel free.
I think you all just want to confuse with some of us are new, but it's not. There's just like the main guy. Just give us definition. What is BDD? Behavior driven development. So I know about all of these things. Test cases is just from the procedure taken from A to Z, and the BDD is what are the things that happen during the procedure. Then you are documenting it at the end of the procedure. So don't complicate the thing. These are the procedures you should follow, and these are the behaviors of the test, and you are documenting it. It's so easy. So don't confuse it and make it look as if it is big. When you mention some acronyms, please try and not tell us the meaning of those acronyms, so that some people who don't know about all of these things will grab.
Is that 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐶𝐂𝐓? I don't know who just spoke.
It's Sammy that's been speaking in the last few seconds.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard Harold mention. So is someone else calling my name?
No, Harold spoke before Sammy. So Sammy is the one that gave the last that, just for us to make it easier for those that are new to it. So please, let's take it one step at a time. Yeah. I just was finding the right time to also mention. So thank you, Sammy. Can we go one step at a time so everybody can catch on things?
Okay, that's why I didn't want to, like Mr. Deji answered Faith when she was talking about, because there are some people, they are still they just on the baby steps, and we don't want to start mentioning all these things. Nobody's trying to intimidate anybody. It's because automation was mentioned, and they just want to give a clear clarity on the BDD or the Gherkin syntax or whatever you call it. And I said that earlier, they are the same thing. When you hear somebody say what is Gherkin syntax or BDD, is the same thing. And I think they've emphasized more on it. I don't want to dwell on that anymore. If we can just move forward.
Please, I have a baby question.
Please go ahead. Feel free.
If you're following all this cucumber, the syntax or Gherkin.
You see, that's the problem. That I try to avoid it as much as I can.
It's okay. I think I'm grasping some, but there's a follow-on that they expected on your expected outcome.
Yes.
I think it's about the syntax again, speaking from a grammatical point of view. You see how you put the successfully displayed this and that.
Yeah.
Are those the professional and fixed terminology to use? Because if you put imputed, my mind is saying I could put successfully displayed.
To be honest, you want to make it, I mentioned that earlier, as clear as concise. And there's no right way of, there's no definition. There's no like, oh, it has to be like this. You go to some you see some test cases, some people will just use successful. You will see some test case, some expected result. Some people will elaborate it more, I just want this to be as easy as it can be, that everyone will have a full understanding. By the time I start writing full sentence, some people might get lost. Yeah. And like all these parts, enter URL. There's really, if I'm to write a proper test case, I'm not going to put enter URL or whatever, or open browser. I might just say, maybe because I'm here now, say for instance, like if you look at this one now, it's already telling you it's there, given I'm on the user ReadTube website. So that's why it's like what Olusegun said. This is like a command. Yeah. So there's no professional way of putting your response. You just want to make sure it aligns with whatever you are saying, with your expectations. And once you click on that login, you are able to log in, and it is now left for you to use the right terms to exhibit your results, or to display your results. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So we just want to make it clear and concise. You don't want to muck it up. Yeah. Don't overthink it. Write it as simple as it can be. I think that's why everybody's thinking test case is the simplest bit of it. You just have to have an in-depth understanding of whatever the requirement is, first of all, because that's why we have the summary. The summary tells you what the end goal is, what we are trying to achieve. Yeah. So by the time some test cases at work, once you look at the title, you already know what it means. You already know what you are meant to do. So those are the things. Even all these things, you will learn it during the course of the internship. You will see some people, when they will write their test case title, it will be a proper full sentence, and it's not necessary. You just want to make it as simple as clear. While you will see some, they will just say login. What is login? How will I know what we are talking about? Yeah. So like this one is already telling you what we are doing. We want to validate the login functionality. Easy as that. It can be 4-letter words, it can be 3-letter words, but everybody that picks it up will be able to relate with it. The same thing goes with the expected result. Don't overthink it. And what I was going to showcase earlier was this is how your acceptance criteria will be presented to you at work. I don't think there's anybody still using this format that I used in Excel. Maybe there are some companies, you never can tell. Yeah, no company is the same. Trust me, no project is the same. So you might still find it like this, but in here, and even where I work, this is, and because of that, I was able to relate easily. Okay, that's not the one I want to show. Yeah, so this is your acceptance criteria. This is what the requirement that you'll be presented with, which is called your acceptance criteria. So that is what you will use to design your test case. So he's saying here, given I'm a Reflex team member. First of all, look at the title, but I think this has been mocked up anyway, because what we are, this project is already closed. I'm not using a current project. Creation of documentary library. You tailor it with what you have on your description, which is saying, as a team member, I want to have, you have this description to help you achieve what you want to do. By the time you read through, please don't flick through, always read through. By the time you read through this, you will have an in-depth understanding of what you want to achieve. And by the time you now dive into the acceptance criteria, that is it. You start writing your test cases, and it will just go well. Any other question? Quickly, I need to stop any moment from now. So I just said, let me show you guys this as well. Because we don't have the opportunity to do that now. So this is how you can also revert to the video later on. Different templates. Because on the Azure board is obviously different, but because we are using Excel, you can create your, you can record your bug, whatever bug that you've raised in this format, or in this format. I didn't populate this, but maybe this will be better. Yeah. So what you want to do is defect ID, defect title, whatever you have found, like this. So here I said defect title is user unable to add items or products to wish list. I said or here / so it could be items or products to wish list. Then you say the different description, which is your steps to reproduce. So you have it here. Given a user is logged into their account, when I add an item to wish list, then user should be able to view item added to wish list. Simple as that. Those were the steps I took. But I didn't achieve what I was meant to achieve. Hence the bug raised. Yeah. Then the expected result was item is added to wish list, but actual results that I'm seeing right now is that item not added to wish list. Then you can add any evidence that you have here. Then the severity is high, obviously, because as a user, I want to, or it could be medium, maybe priority, medium. Then section, this is another topic on its own where we talk about the severity and the priority of bug. Very, very essential, because as a tester, you must find bugs. And once you find bugs, you must report them well. Very essential. If your bug does not have enough clarity, it can be rejected by a developer. And that means you don't know how to do your job once it's been rejected. And there are other several reasons why bugs can also be rejected. You just don't raise bug, you know. There are some bugs you can also triage, yeah? And triage in terms of priority and all that. The other, what I wanted to say, there are some bugs that you can have the three amigos discuss it within your team. Maybe it's just not too, it's not of a showstopper, like that cosmetic bug we were talking about earlier. You can talk over it, yeah? You can inspect it, things like that. So then the section affected users account, environment, it was done on Firefox. Maybe if somebody has tried it on what is it called, Google, Chrome, it might be fine. And reported by tester Alice, that doesn't exist, and reported on this date. And the status is that the bug is new and it was assigned. This is very, very essential, very important. You must assign a bug to a developer. So this is just a plus, because this is a whole new topic of its own. But trust me, if you know how to, if just study these templates, it's very good for you as a tester to know how to raise a bug. Thank you. I'm gonna stop sharing now. Any other question before I move on to pass it on to Damisola? Any question? Gabriel, yeah, go for it.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
My question is from the starting page where we said open the browser. I could notice on your sharing the screen when you are moving the cursor on the logo of the Redeemer BlueSky. So I want to ask: is that the browser or the different type of the browser? What do you say?
That's the site. This is the site. Okay. So this is the URL. Yeah. This is the URL. So let me copy it and paste it here. Wait. Oh no, URL, sorry. Nice password there. So any other question?
No, that's all.
Yeah, so this is your URL. Browser is Edge, Chrome, Firefox.
Okay.
That's what we meant by browser.
Okay.
So when they say URL, that means you want to go into a particular site.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Any other question? Was I sharing? Okay. Let's see. Was I sharing just now? I thought I was sharing.
No, nothing is on the screen.
Oh, sorry. And I was doing something. I didn't know I wasn't even sharing. And he was saying yes. Oh, let me just show you again, Gabriel. Sorry. Let me just quickly show you that. Where was I? Yeah, so this is your browser.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so this is your browser. Sorry, this is your URL. This one, this is what we meant by URL. So this is the URL. I've just pasted it on the other this thing now. Yeah. So when you enter the URL, I'm just gonna do that later. Yeah. Any other question? Stop sharing. Any other question? Okay.
No hands are up. No hands are up.
You can pause the recording. Thank you, Damisola. Thank you, everyone.